All right. Good evening, everyone. Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and let's fix this camera. All right, that looks clear. All right, I wanted to do a quick update on Glory Days College Football and talk about a couple of things that have not been covered yet. One is talent factor, and two is basically a zone defensive result. And then finally, kind of go over the new outlay of the team cards. And then we'll do a little bit of a sample gameplay again. So first off, talent factor. So talent factor is used to differentiate, obviously, the teams such as the SEC teams or teams like Clemson that get a higher level of talent. And if you look at BYU as an example, when you look at their offensive and defensive ratings, they're very similar. Run game, basically, actually, BYU is a little bit better than Clemson. Passing game, both the same, both is pretty much as good as you can get in the passing game. Defensively, Clemson better against the run, and against the pass, BYU ratings are a little better. So obviously, this is based on how teams statistically fall within ratings for these categories. But you need to factor in the fact that BYU did not play a Clemson level schedule. They do not have Clemson level talent. And if you bring in Alabama, you see the same thing. So how do you normalize a game when these two teams play? BYU has upset some high-ranked teams. Obviously, if you go all the way back to when Ty Detmer was quarterback in 1991, they upset number 1 ranked Miami to open the season. A few years ago, they beat number 5 Oklahoma early on in the season. So they are capable of getting an upset. It's just highly unlikely. So to take that factor out of it, talent factor is going to level these things out and ensure that the teams that truly do have the better caliber of athlete have an advantage against just going off of pure offensive and defensive ratings based on statistical rankings during the season. So talent factor, 0, 1, or 2. So the best teams, Alabama and Clemson, obviously get the best talent, so they have 2. BYU, solid team, 11-1, but they do not get talent, or that level of talent, so they have a 0. And how this is factored in is it's basically a calculation I did, factoring in strength of schedule with final rankings or final ranking at the end of the season to increase a team's talent level. So you could have a team that, say, went 8-5, but played a third toughest schedule in the country, and say like a team, maybe like a team like Iowa from the Big Ten or another SEC team. So they could have a talent factor of 1, even though they don't have that stellar record, just based on their strength of schedule. BYU had a terrible strength of schedule last year. They did have some talent. I mean, they've got obviously the number 2 draft pick in Zach Wilson. And between draftees and unsigned free agents, I think they have 11 guys on NFL rosters from last year's team. So they had talent, but let's be honest, it's not SEC and ACC level talent. So that's how talent factor comes in. And the way it works is rolling your 2d6, where you get your when you're in play-by-play mode, where you get your trench control ratings. If you roll, in the case of Alabama and Clemson, if these 2 dice add up to a 2 or 2 to 4, so it could be obviously 2-1, 2-2, 3-1, 2-1, whatever, then you will automatically default to the talent factor depending on what's going on. So say we roll a total of 3, BYU's playing Clemson. Normally, a 1, say it's a run play, BYU would have 3 stars against Clemson's 2, advantage BYU, right? But because we're within the talent factor range, you look at, there's a +2 talent factor for Clemson, and then you look at the defensive portion since they're on defense. That automatically reduces BYU's run result, which based on the base result, would have come out of the +1 column all the way down to the -3 column. And there is a significant difference, as you can see. So that's how that comes into play. So it's something that will come into play, again, in this case, roughly a third of the time. Actually, not even that much, 16% of the time. So it's enough to keep the talent where it should be in terms of not letting BYU get into a shootout and play, toe-to-toe with these guys, because that really shouldn't happen. BYU, to beat them, would have to have a lot of breaks. Clemson would have to make a lot of mistakes, etc. Hey, what's up, Brock? Welcome, buddy. Yep, end of the 2022 season, and we're definitely on pace for that. I will not be releasing 2020 just because the season was such a cluster with COVID and whatnot, but definitely will have the 2022 season or 2021 season. That will be the first release, and I'll shooting to get that out. I should have most of the teams ranked before the college football playoffs next year, and then hopefully shortly after get the remaining teams ranked and get the game out. So that is the plan, and so far very much on track. So that's basically talent factor. So BYU is going to get theirs against Clemson, but there's going to be times where on these rolls, and these are factored. I've done this range purposely to take away when both teams get good results on their trench control rolls, to automatically, at that point, the talent edge kicks in and it takes it to the either best possible result for the offense or worst possible result for the other team on defense. So conversely, if Clemson's got the ball and it's a pass play, 3 stars, 2 for BYU would be 3 stars. So normally that would be on the 0 column when resolving the pass result. We'll say a short pass here. But again, talent factor kicks in. So you look at the difference of +2, and automatically that moves Clemson's result to come off the +3 range, short or long pass, for that, based again on talent factor. And really looking at it, it's probably it is simpler than I'm probably making it seem. But again, it's something that you only have to contend with about 16% of the time, but it does add that extra realism. The other thing I wanted to do is talk about the zoned-in defensive plays. Now, as I discussed when I did the first video for this, I don't have play calls. The play calls are basic, run, short pass, long pass, period. I don't have, I obviously I've coached football for 30 plus years at the high school level, so I could put in all kinds of cool play calls. If you wanted defense, you could go with, say, under sting 2, which basically is a blitz, a safety blitz, and then we roll. This would be in our nickel package. I'm just rambling stuff right now, but say a play like that would be a basic 4-man front with an undershade by the nose tackle. We'd be bringing a blitz, and then the secondary on top would play a cover 2, and we'd run that out of a nickel package where we had 5 DBs in there. So, I can incorporate all kinds of stuff like that in, but in a normal game situation, when you're rolling dice and making those play calls, too often it comes down to a guess, and you can put in probabilities, obviously, but in a real life coaching situation, if I'm calling the defense, I'm going to have a game plan, and based on what that team has done in the film that I've watched, I'm going to have calls that mesh with what they do most on 1st and 10, 2nd and 3, 3rd down and 7 from the far hash inside their own 30. All that stuff is accounted for when you game plan. So I'm making these ratings on the assumption that that's already factored into play. And in a normal game flow situation, the probability of runs and passes, and again, based on what the team likes to do in terms of are they run heavy, pass heavy, et cetera, are factored in with the automatic dice rolls if you use the dice rolls to call the play. So I just want to take it's 3rd and 1, and if you're picking a card for the defense, you come up with prevent. That's never going to happen. So we just assume that the defensive coordinator is competent and has scouted his team, and more likely than not will have the correct defense in place. Now, there is an exception, and you'll see here, first of all, I moved the play call sheets from the team cards. The team cards were busy as hell. I had stuff crammed in here. I wanted to put some spacing so that you could easily go from chart to chart when you're getting play results. Use this to get who were the ball carrier, receiver, if you are doing that method, if you want to keep specific stats, etc. So I wanted to space the chart out to make that easier. So by doing so, I moved all the play calls, if you're rolling a dice to call the offensive play instead of doing it yourself, to the master game board. Max run, heavy run, favor run, lean run, et cetera, all down to heavy pass, right? And did that really because in most situations, if I had two favor run teams and we're going through the different down and distance scenarios here, one team might be rated a 0-5 in this particular like second and 7+ situation versus 0-4. But it's not going to be much more than that. The numbers aren't going to be off a great deal. So rather than, play with the minutia of saying, Army and Navy are playing, Army on 1st and 10 is going to call a run on 0-8, and Navy is going to call a run 0-7. They're both max run teams. I just made a generic chart for each offense type. And over the course of a season or a game, you're not going to have that much of a variance just using a single generic chart. And again, that just makes it easier. Hey, Bob, welcome, buddy. Thank you for joining. Thanks for the interest as well. So that's why I did that with the play chart and moved it there. Now let's talk about the zoned and defensive chart. You can't see it here because, again, this is a prototype on paper on my crappy printer, so the ink's kind of sketchy, but rest assured the print quality will be the same as the Glory Days boxing game. I'll be using the same printer. But this is a defensive star adjustment, and this is where the zoned in defensive results come in. So in a situation here where it's 3rd and 1-2, 4th and 1-2 on this bottom column, if it's an assumption that the defense is going to be in a run-heavy defense and not in a pass defense. So that's why you get an extra defensive star in this scenario, 3rd and 1-2, 4th and 1-2. You get an extra defensive star if the offensive result is a run. If by chance they roll a pass, you get a -1 to your defensive star result on the pass. And what this does is just kind of take, again, the probabilities, lock them in a little bit tighter. Conversely, on 3rd and 6+, 4th and 6+, or 2-minute offense, which is all, and that's the other thing I did. I grouped these by related down and distance situations to take away some space there as well. But in those scenarios, 3rd and long, you're going to be playing pass defense. You're not going to expect the team to line up and run a power or, run a trap play or off, whatever the case is, inside zone, outside zone. You're expecting a pass. So in that situation, the long pass or the pass result here is going to be, long pass result will be a +1 on the defensive star result. And if a run play does come up, either called or by dice roll, it is a -1 to the defensive stars for the run result. So those are the only two scenarios. Long yardage 2-minute situations on third down and later, and short yardage situations on 3rd down and later. Apart from that, there is no adjustments. The game probabilities take into account all that stuff. Hey, Alex, thank you. And thank you as well for the interest. Arnold Hunter, thank you very much, my friend. So that is the basic zone defense result. We talked about the talent factor. And again, the changes to the cards, you can see two things actually. On the drive chart, and this stuff here isn't filled in. That's still a work in progress. I just did not need it for this video, so ignore all this stuff. On the drive charts here, my camera's crooked too, damn it. There. On the drive charts, what I did is for the drive and punt plays, previously I had plays down in another area. You can see the remnant of them down here. I simplified this. I looked at them like, I had odd and even results for if there's a drive or a punt based on the 1d6. I want the player to look at less and not more. You know, again, sometimes making a game, you try and make it overproduce it too much. So I tried to simplify that. So if you had a punt result on the drive chart, this tells you the number of plays, the number of yards. You write those down on the score sheet. Then at the end of the game, if you want to break down individual statistics based on the drive portion, I'm going to have percentages that allow you to do that, and also determine the individual stats for players. So that's cleanup stuff you can do at the end of the game. No sense weighing the game down again as you get through it with extra steps. Same thing with the drives. It'll have the number of plays, number of yards covered on the drive where there's a potential scoring drive, and then you slip into play-by-play mode at the end of that. Same thing with turnovers, number of plays, number of yards gained when the potential turnover takes place. And if there is no turnover, you resume a regular scoring opportunity. And if it is indeed a punt, it will say so here. You recovered the turnover yourself, or didn't throw an interception, recovered your own fumble, whatever, but you still have to punt. So that's what I did on those to simplify things. The other big change is with the big play result. I also used to have an even odd for that based on the 1d6. Let's make it simple. So if you roll a big play off the team chart, and again, we will use Clemson here. If you roll a big playoff chart, you're going to get a big play 1 result. You will come down here to the team's big play column, and if it's a run, you'll look in 1. If it's a pass, you'll look in 1. That's your big play. If you roll a big play 2 off the drive sheet, that is a potentially more explosive play. So then you would do the same thing, come down here. If it's a run, look at run 2 or pass 2. And these have a potential for greater yardage in most situations. And I did take these big play numbers off explosive plays that teams actually generated. So any number you see on here, if a big play was over a certain amount of yards, it just got an automatic touchdown. But say run 2, you see this 44-yard gain. You can rest assured at one point, Travis Etienne or another back ran for a 44-yard gain during the season. So that's how that's incorporated. So that is basically the end of the tweaks. So we'll do a few sample gameplays and send New Mexico out to the slaughter here. And really, the one thing too that's still a work in progress at this point is this game board. I didn't want to have a big footprint, a big football field. So here, if you have the ball, if you start a drive on the opponent's 44, you put 1 pawn on the 40 and 1 pawn on the 4. So there you go on the 44. First down and 10. If you gain 3, it goes to 2nd and 7, etc. The one part you will have to keep track of at this point, if you lose yardage, say on first down, then you go to 11 plus. I will continue to think of a good alternative for that, but at this point, that's what it is. So, and then of course, already I'd moved penalties, punts, kickoffs, punt returns, etc. to the main game board as well. All right, so let's break down New Mexico and Clemson. As we check into the chat, Phil Leota has joined us. Welcome, my friend. This game will be released after the 2021 college football season. So after the national championship, so early in 2022. And again, I wanted to capture a normal college football season and not do 2020 because that was anything but. So that will be the first release, and that'll just make a clean start too. And then after release, I'll probably go back and try and rate a couple of retro seasons before the 2022 college football season starts. And the key, yep, absolutely keep it simple. I practice that philosophy in coaching, so I need to do it in game design too and not make things ridiculously complex. I don't know if you covered this, but are you going to card all bowl schools? Actually, I'm going to card all 130 FBS teams. So, yeah. that will be a little different. And there'll be the one thing that initially was a problem. If you watch the first prototype, these team cards were bigger. And when I sent for an estimate based on 2 teams per page, I'm like, gee, I cannot sell that game for that price. So this, I'm able to get 5 teams per print sheet. I print off an 11 by 17, 130-pound cardstock, and that got the price point down a lot more reasonable. So and it's way too early for that, but I'm thinking I'll be able to do all 130 teams for the season, probably at a price point somewhere in the $50 to $60 range. So yeah, it'll be an entire 130 team season. And again, that could actually be less or more. I haven't drilled down the specifics on that yet. That's just really a rough estimate. But yes, they will all be there. Al Red Sox fan has joined us, and check out that great channel as well. So, all right, that's the changes and questions answered. So let's do a few plays of Clemson and New Mexico with the new team charts. When the time comes, Bob, I will be happy to do so, my friend, and I appreciate your support too. So we'll say Clemson's going to get the ball first. So first thing we do, of course, Clemson, high volume, quick paced offense, 13 drives per game plus the 2-minute drive if applicable at the end. New Mexico 11. So you balance that out. Each team gets 6 drives per game. Simple math there. And then we need to do is look at our ratings. And New Mexico has a team offensive rating of 5 and a team defensive rating of 3. Clemson is a 10 offense, and they get a rare over 10 boost, 11 on defense, plus their talent factor of 2. So that is going to make, when New Mexico has the ball, they're going to roll their drives off the -6 column. So this is their punt and drive score probability here. And Clemson will roll their offensive drives at the +7 column. So Clemson's going to score a lot of points in this game, which is as it should be. And again, barring turnovers, penalties, et cetera, et cetera. So let's start this off. Let's give Clemson the ball first. And again, I'm expecting them to march down the field. So we will do our kickoff. And Clemson, New Mexico kickoff is a D. And Clemson's kickoff return team is rated as a B. All right, so we'll do the kickoff. And again, the kickoff is pretty simple. It's going to be 2 D10s, and the black one is the kickoff, and the white one is the return. All right, so 4. So New Mexico, got to look again, is a D. So kickoff D, a roll of 4. That goes down to the goal line, and Clemson with a kickoff return of B. So kickoff return of B and a roll of 4 also. That's going to be a 36-yard return. So Clemson will take over, or their drive will start on their own 36. And we will roll for the drive. Now, as a reminder on the drive, and that's the other thing. You can take out rolling the D6s on this because the even odd numbers are gone. So you just have to roll the 2 D10s for the drive. Again, keeping it simple. All right, so 22 and 22 at a +7. They'd have to get 14 or less to punt. That's probably as good as New Mexico is going to get. And then so Clemson is going to get a drive, and I should roll the 1D22, 6. So you roll the 2 D10s and the 1D20 when you do the drive. So 6 on a potential scoring drive is going to be 4 plays at 25 yards. And again, you would mark that down here in this part, 4 plays, 25 yards, and then result is, at the end, you fill that in, touchdown, field goal, whatever. So 4 plays, 25 yards, and again, there will be a formula if you want to keep specific stats to go fill that in at the end of the game and break down the players and move on from there. All right, so and there is our friend Daisy. So there on 25 yards, basically it is going to be, whoops, 44 and actually down to the New Mexico 39 is where it'll start. All right, so 1st and 10 from the 39, and now you jump into play-by-play mode. And play-by-play mode, again, you can call the offense if you want. I'm going to call the offense just for simplicity's sake. Or you can roll an extra D10 based on the result of the teams to get the play call here. So, and we'll do both ways. We'll do a drive with New Mexico if they don't punt, where I let the die call the play. So I'll just pretend I'm Dabo today and coaching Clemson. All right. So in this situation, just like Glory Days boxing, you get your trench control instead of ring generalship control here. So we're going to move my charts. So 1 here is going to be a 3-star, and we call the run to Etienne to start the game. So 3 stars on the run at New Mexico, 4-star on their run defense is 1, or 4 is 1 star on their run defense. So it's a +2 for Clemson, and just missed the talent factor roll. So +2 for Clemson, and you will look at, and I'm sorry, I said Etienne, just a run play. So you look here, 7 + 2, that is going to be a 5-yard gain. 14, you drop down here, and Trevor Lawrence is actually going to run the ball there. So 5-yard gain for Lawrence, and that moves it down to the 34, and it's going to be 2nd 5. We're going to call a short pass play. And 6, not good for Clemson there. That is going to be no stars and New Mexico. And again, this is, those rare where a less gifted team can jump up and do something. So that's going to be a -2 result. So 0 -2 on the short pass. Come down here and 0 -2. That's still going to be a 4-yard gain. Trevor Lawrence able to complete that. And 7, the completion on that is going to go to, on a short pass, Etienne out of the backfield. So 4-yard gain for Etienne, and that makes it 3rd and 1, and we are at the 30-yard line. So we're going to call a run play, and remember New Mexico, and we have talent factor. So New Mexico normally would have got that extra defensive star to their roll, which would have put their run defense at a 4. But the talent factor roll of 4 comes in, so automatically we go to Clemson's 3+ column, and a 2 on +3 is going to be a 5-yard gain, and the ball carrier on that 9 is Etienne. So 5 yards, and we have a 1st down now. At the 25, 1st and 10 for the Tigers. And we are going to take a shot from the 25, a long pass. And 4, all right, we got doubles. So remember, doubles are a penalty. So first thing we're going to do is check the penalty. So 4, 7, again, 19 to 20 would be a defensive penalty. 1 to 6 would be an offensive penalty. So Clemson avoids the penalty there. Lucky for them. And we are going to have the long pass play result. So a roll of 2. Now on top of the penalty, talent factor comes into play. So no penalty. A 4 is going to automatically be in the +3 column on Clemson's long pass. So I'll move here. A 3, and that is going to be one of only 2 incompletes in that column. So in that scenario, things did not work out for them. And it is going to be, get a new pen, 2nd down and 10. All right, I want to call a short pass now. Here we go. Bring coming up to the line, and no talent factor applies in this scenario. So it's going to be a short pass on a pass play, 3 stars for Clemson, pass defense for New Mexico, and their pass defense is horrific. It is a 0. So that's going to put Clemson in the +3 column, and a roll of 4 in the +3 column is a 10-yard gain. 7 on the short pass goes to Etienne again out of the backfield, so his 2nd catch of the day. And that is going to punch it down to the 15-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Tigers. And Trevor Lawrence, 2 for 3. 1st and 10 from the 15, we are going to call another short pass, looking to exploit New Mexico's porous pass defense. And it's going to be a 2 stars for Clemson, and on the defensive check, a 1 star for New Mexico. So a +1 on the short pass. Number 6 is the result. That's going to be an 8-yard gain, and 19 is to Nagata. So it is going to be a 2nd down and 2 from the 7-yard line, and run play. 5 on the run is going to be for Clemson, no stars. Their run game and athlete level of competition is not as good statistically as you might think. Against worse teams it will be, of course. So 5 there, and New Mexico, it's going to be a -2 on New Mexico's roll. So the Lobos are stacking the box. -2 on a roll of 5 is going to be a 1-yard gain, and the ball carrier is Etienne. So we're going to be in a 3rd and 1 situation. And we're going to, again, call another run play. And Clemson not doing very well there. That's going to be no stars for that. And New Mexico with a 1, that's going to be a +3, so, or a -3. -3 column and 0, and that is going to be barely. Etienne fights and gets that 1 yard. You see here on their card, Clemson had a stuff result and 5-0, no gains. They managed to get the 1 yard they needed. So that is going to be 1st and goal. And we are at the 5-yard line. So why not? They're going to just try and finish it on the ground. Here we go. And again, a terrible roll, a run defensive check of 1 for New Mexico. So -1 for Clemson on the run play. Roll of 7, and that's going to be 2 yards. Ball carrier on that, 19, is going to be Rencher. So Rencher, his 1st carry of the day. And it is going to be a 2nd down now. 2nd down from the 4-yard line, short pass. And New Mexico is playing some pretty good defense down here. That's going to be a 4 for Clemson on the pass play. That's 2 star New Mexico. That is going to be a 2-star result on their pass defense. So 0 on the short pass, a roll of 4. And that is going to be a 12-yard completion into the end zone. Touchdown, Clemson, and the recipient of that is Spector. So that will actually be a 4-yard touchdown pass for Trevor Lawrence and the Tigers. Jump up to a 6-0 lead. They are a 0-99 now. Clemson did have a problem with kicks getting blocked. On their special teams chart here. Extra point is 0-97 because they did have some block issues and they did miss one. So no automatic. It's got to be 97 or less, and it is comfortably good. So Clemson goes up on top 7-0. As Trevor Lawrence with the touchdown pass. And New Mexico now will get their crack. And what I'll do for New Mexico is I will do the dice to pick their plays. They are a lean run offense. So Clemson kickoff is an A. And again, we'll bring the drive chart out so you can see it. And let me catch up on the chat real quick. Hey, what's up, Harris? Welcome. I saw you. Hope your arm is healing good. I saw you when you stopped by Rob's, you took a foul ball off there. So hopefully that is healing and you're feeling better. All right, so Clemson kickoff is an A. New Mexico's kickoff return is a C. All right, so 6 on the A result. I'm looking in the wrong place. And that's going to be a touchback, so New Mexico will start their drive from the 25. All right, now again, New Mexico, Clemson's defense is going to be relentless. New Mexico is a -6 on the drive chart. 46 -6, that is going to be a punt. So 11 on their drive goes a grand total of 4 plays, 12 yards. So they get up to the 37, and they're going to have to punt. New Mexico punting is a C. All right, so 7 on the punt chart, C, and that's going to be a 36-yard punt. So 43. That is going to land down on the 27-yard line. That's the one area I struggle is that quick math. And Clemson's punt return is also a C, and 9 on the punt return, a C, and that is going to be go to the team big play chart. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a big play. So on the big play chart for punt return, you could also have a fumble there too, not necessarily a big play for the team. That's going to be a 9-yard punt return. So Clemson's going to start their drive, their second drive from their own 36-yard line, and we'll do one more drive, and I'll let the dice call the offense, and we'll call it a stream since covered a lot of ground tonight, and I just wanted to, again, show a little bit more gameplay. All right, so RJL, welcome, buddy. No, they're not giving Clemson a game either. Clemson cut through them like butter, and New Mexico was 4 and out. He took a fastball to left forearm, fractured it, still sore, but swung. Well, good. And I guess you still umpired. So, yeah, you did a lot of work over the weekend. Did you actually umpire with a cast, or did you get to just kind of supervise instead? That's dangerous. I did some umpiring a little bit years and years ago, and kids are great. Foul balls, not so much. Parents behind you, not so much. So here we go. Clemson's drive. And again, Clemson, they are a +7. So we should have a profitable drive. And 96, we might get a little bit of +7. 96 is actually going to be a possible INT. So here's how that works on the drive. Now, again, I mentioned there's still total plays and yards on the drive. So roll of 12, and you would go here. Roll of 12, and that is actually going to be 3 plays. And if the interception is dropped, it's only going to be an 8-yard gain, and Clemson's going to have to punt. So Clemson, interception, New Mexico. And again, there's a factor here. New Mexico is a +1 to the interception rate of the team they are playing. Turnovers are adjusted, and as are sacks. And Clemson's interception, Lawrence was pretty good taking care of the football. Offensively, they are 1-5. So 1-6, it'll be a pick, and it is going to be an incomplete, but Clemson is going to go 3 and out and have to punt. So you would change. So we'll do one more drive with New Mexico since they get the unexpected stop on Clemson. Probably be the only one they would get if I played this game out. All right, so Clemson, they are going to be punting. Going to be punting from their own 44 after the 8 yards on the drive. And Clemson's punt team is a B. New Mexico, of course, is a D punt return. So 3, that is going to be a 45-yard punt. And that is going to take the ball all the way down to the 11 for New Mexico. A 9 on the return. And again, New Mexico is a D. 9 on the return is going to be team big play chart. And punt return 2 is going to be 0, and we have a possible fumble. So we're getting a little bit of everything in this very brief demonstration. New Mexico's fumble rating. So that's going to put Clemson right on the door. New Mexico, their fumble rating is 1-4. They were actually pretty good there. But Clemson was a turnover and sack machine defense. They're going to be a +3. So 1-7 will be a lost fumble. And that was going to be a 6. So Clemson is going to recover New Mexico's fumble on the punt on the 11-yard line. This will be their 3rd drive. So this will be their final drive of the first quarter. And Clemson takes over on the 11. 1st and 10, and they're going to go for the throat right out of the gate here. Trevor Lawrence is going to go for a short pass. Actually, I'm going to let the die. I promised I'd let the dice call it, so I let the dice call it. So Clemson is a lean pass offense. So we roll that extra 1d10, 8, and 8 on lean pass is going to be a long pass. And I don't have any, if that comes up in this scenario where you wouldn't call a long pass normally, I'm just going to let it play out. I decided it's, again, keeping it simple. So long pass play and 4 and a 5 on the offensive check. Clemson has 2 stars there. New Mexico on their pass defense is horrible. They have no stars. So it's going to be a 1 on the +2 for long pass. And that is going to be a 24-yard gain. That's going to be good enough, obviously, for a touchdown. And 13, the recipient of that strike is Galloway. So Galloway, 11-yard touchdown pass. Trevor Lawrence's 2nd of the quarter. And Clemson, pending the point, is going to go up. Oh, crap. Their extra point just got blocked. So it's 13-0. So Clemson's up 13-0. And New Mexico, we might as well finish the first quarter. So we'll give New Mexico their final drive of the first quarter. Drive number 3 for New Mexico. They have a 4-and-out and a fumbled punt for their troubles thus far. All right, so let's do the kickoff. Clemson, again, kickoff is an A and a 3. That's going to be a touchback. New Mexico takes over. And let's see if New Mexico can have a little bit of luck. Trying to keep the footprint small. Sorry for all the shuffling. All right, so on their drive column, again, they are a -6. Here we go. Here's the drive. 61 -6. New Mexico is actually going to get a little bit of a drive going here. And that is going to be a roll of 10 on the drive chart. And that's going to be 7 plays for 55 yards. So New Mexico need to capitalize off the momentum of that blocked punt. They're going to start their drive at the Clemson 30-yard line, 1st and 10, their scoring opportunity. So let's see if the Lobos can put a little bit of a shock into the Tigers here as we wind down the first quarter, final drive of the first quarter. And again, I will let the dice call the play on this drive. So here we go. 1st down and 10. 0 is going to be a run play. And New Mexico has 2 stars there. Clemson up, talent factor coming in. It's going to be an automatic -3 due to Clemson's talent factor advantage, which was a new trait if you joined the stream late. So we are going to go to 1 on the -3 column for New Mexico, and that they just avoided a stuff there. That's going to be a 1-yard run and ball carrier Cole. So single yard for Cole is going to be 2nd down and 9. New Mexico not wanting to lose this momentum. 2nd and 9, so we'll be looking in their lean run 0 to 4. They're going to run it again. 5 or more is going to be a pass. And 8, New Mexico is actually going to call a long pass in this scenario. And their pass, the Lobos, a roll of 2. Well, talent factor comes into play again because the total is 3. Again, 2 to 4, the talent factor kicks in. So it's going to be a -3 result for the Lobos. And 5 on the -3 long pass. And that is going to be, okay, a potential sack, but a 15-yard gain otherwise. So we go to the sack, the 1D20 for the sack. And 15, New Mexico has a sack rating. First of all, Clemson is good at sacks. They're a +5. New Mexico's sack rating here you see is 1 to 9. So +5, 14. They just avoid a sack. And New Mexico, a shocking result. We'll roll this again for the recipient. That's going to be a touchdown pass for the Lobos. I'm sorry, not a 15-yard gain, my bad. So they are going to be down to the 15-yard line. So 1st down from the 15 for New Mexico as their quarterback, Hall, shakes off a Clemson defender and fires a 15-yard strike. And the recipient of that 15-yard strike is going to be Erickson. So Lobos 1st and 10 from the 15 and threatening to make it interesting here. Yeah, what I'm trying to do here, Robert, is I guess truncate the game by doing a portion of a drive manually, and whether it's a scoring opportunity or a punt, and then letting you step into play-by-play mode so that it doesn't drag on for over an hour like most, I shouldn't say most, like a lot of, a lot of board football games take an hour and a half to play. I'm trying to keep this in the 40 to 45 minute range when all is said and done. Obviously, I'm going a lot slower now because of talking and going through stuff. But all right, 1st and 10 for the Lobos, and it is going to be another running play. Now, talent factor is going to come into play, but we have a penalty, doubles again on the 1D6 possible penalty. 1 is going to be a penalty for sure. And then go to the penalty chart here, and it's an offensive penalty. Obviously, it's going to be a false start, so that's going to back up the Lobos 5 yards. Put them back at the 20 as we go to 1st and 15. And New Mexico up to the line, and we'll see what they do this time. Again, they are a lean run team. They're going to call a short pass on 1st and 15. And for New Mexico, not a very good passing offense. They are going to get no stars on that. And Clemson just missed the talent factor, but they're still going to be good. It's going to be 3 stars. So -3 on a roll of 6 on a short pass. And that's going to be an incomplete. And we have another potential sack. And this time their quarterback is go down. So Clemson pissed off now. You roll the 2D6 for all sacks. That is going to be a 6-yard loss. So that puts it back to the 26-yard line, and it is going to be 2nd down and 21. So New Mexico hopes of getting on the scoreboard rapidly being dashed here as it's 2nd and forever. And New Mexico just looking to staunch, I guess, the bleeding. It's going to come up with a run play, actually. And for New Mexico, that is going to be on the run a total of 2 stars. And for Clemson, again, just missed the talent factor roll. That is going to be 3 stars on the run defense. So it's going to be a -1 and a roll of 9 for the Lobos. And that is going to be a 3-yard gain. Ball carrier on that was Jones. So Jones for 3 yards. And that really, in the grand scheme of things, 3rd down and 18 does not help a whole bunch. So we'll probably see a loss here, I would assume. Or maybe New Mexico just wants to try and get points on the board. A roll of 3, and they're going to go with a short pass here. And we have a potential penalty double. 16 is outside of the penalty range of both offense and defense, so we're good to go there. And for New Mexico on the pass, short pass again is going to be no stars, and Clemson on their pass defense, 2 stars, so -3 and a 0, or -2 and a 0, sorry. And -2 on a 0 on the short pass. Complete our chart's going to be an incomplete pass. So Hall errant in his throw, and the Lobos are going to try and settle for a field goal, which I guess would be a moral victory for them. So again, they are on the 23-yard line. This will need to be a 33-yard field goal. And you can see on their special teams, it is 0 to 66. Black die first, 33, and it's good. So New Mexico at the end of the first quarter gets on the board, and we are 3-1. Clemson up 13 to 3, and that's probably as close as New Mexico would get in this game. So that is it, guys. A description, a look at the new card layout, some of the changes to the game board, talking about the talent factor, which again is at the front of the video, and then also finally the zoned in results for the defensive scenarios on 3rd and short, 3rd and 4th and short, and 3rd and later and long, where the defense loses a start or gets a start depending on what the offense calls. So that's pretty much it. Right now, the game design, I'm pretty happy. I like the card layout. I'm going to continue to maybe look at ways to keep the gameplay speedy. The one thing that is a pain in the butt for me is doing the math on the field, but I just didn't want to put a big footprint into the game. So that's something I'll still probably play with to try and maybe simplify that a little bit more or make it a lot easier to calculate. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But, I think this is going to be the final team design. I'm happy with this. I liked, being able to move some of the stuff to the main game board. See, I've got spacing now. It's not so damn busy and cluttered to where you can easily go from run to the 2 passes, see who your ball carrier receiver is. The results up here. The talent factor results, obviously your trench control, as well as defense, offensive ratings. And finally, at the bottom, your big play chart and special teams. So you can see those as well. So that's pretty much it. Hey, appreciate everyone that stopped by for taking a look at this. Again, this will be released after the 2021 college season. About 20%. Close to 20% done with rating the flyweights for Glory Days Boxing. That will be that will complete the original 8 divisions. So I anticipate that being done in about a month. So we'll have all original 8 plus another 200 supplement set, mix set, and a second 100 heavyweights all out. So it'll be 10 sets for Glory Days Boxing. After that, I'm going to work on some free stuff for the boxing game, and then pretty much focus in on getting this college football game finalized, ready to go, and more testing. And some people too, I know I will be asking to do some testing too. So thank you for joining us, Brock Riblet. Appreciate it. Bob's Tabletop Sports. Check out that channel. Alex M., thank you very much. Good friend Arnold Hunter, thanks for stopping by. Phil Leota. And of course, Al Red Sox fan, the YouTube sports game broadcaster extraordinaire. Our good friend Harris Jessup, heel up, victim of a foul ball, RJL 518, playing a lot of inside pitch. And I know you had a game earlier on I got to go check out. Thank you for stopping by, and check out his great channel as well. And of course, Flash Sports, Jason Graham. Big kudos to him for planting the seed and coming up with a methodology to express play Glory Days Boxing. Really great asset to the community and the game. So thank you, Jason, very much for all you've done with that. And I'm going to be putting together formal instructions for that in the next week or so and uploading those as well. But again, all props to Jason for coming up with a very ingenious idea. And finally, not last but not least, our good friend IDJ, who is spared any dead ball talk or gaming today for college football. And IDJ has some Marvel heroes going on. It's correct me with the exact name of the game. I know it's a Marvel a trading card game, basically, like similar to Magic, but doing a lot of stuff on his channel with that, war games. And if you missed his epic rant on APA football, please go back and check that out. It was glorious. As always, my friend, of all your stuff, IDJ. So I appreciate y'all stopping by. If you don't mind, guys, smack that like button on the way out. And we will talk to you later. This is Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming. Hope you all have a great evening, and thanks for stopping by, guys.